Hello everyone, myself Lakshmi. I'm the Joint Secretary of YUWA. I would like to give brief introduction about YUWA. So YUWA is based and registered in Western Australia as a non-profit organization. The mission of YUWA is to promote sports and culture, academic consultation, capacity building, dissemination, and charitable activities. So staying on our objectives, today's webinar is based on academic part. So Dr. Roshan Regmi, one of our board members and academic coordinator of YUWA, will be presenting about scholarship opportunity in Australia. If you got any questions during the presentation, then feel free to write that on chat box. We will have answer question sessions at the end of our presentation. So without further delay, I would like to welcome Dr. Roshan Regmi.
All right, thank you, Lakshmi ji. So I'm audible to everyone. Yeah. So raise your hand if you can listen to me.
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. So thanks for a little bit of delay. Welcome everyone, wherever the all you are now. Yeah. Today presentation I will be giving brief overview about the scholarship opportunities in Australia. Though I'll be touching little bit of like the old scenario of the scholarship without any further delay. Let me start with my presentation. So I think it's better to know the people whom you are listening before starting any talk or anything in this old. This old is everyone is busy. So today I'm talking about scholarship opportunities. So I just think like this slide will be helpful to let people know from where I came from. So I raised up in Sengza, which is the western part of Nepal, and then my schooling has been done there from nursery to class 10, and I used to be the class topper for every classes I attend. And then I did my SLC school living certificate from there, and then I become a district topper. And then I came to Kathmandu for my so there is okay. So I came to Kathmandu for my +2, and then I did my science +2 there, studying biology. And again, I got a full scholarship there, and then college sponsored full scholarship. I didn't have to pay any tuition fee or any accommodation fees. And then I also got the in Mahatma Gandhi scholarship at the same time, which will pay you around 6,000 rupees at that time, and it was huge money back in 2005-6, especially when you are young kids to spend that money. And then I moved to India for my BSc Agriculture degree, and then again got the full scholarship from India, and then I became a gold medalist in my degree. And then at the same time, I was doing the BSc Microbiology from Nepal, which was again sponsored from the Golden Jubilee Scholarship in Indian Embassy, which pays you around 25,000 per year at that time, Nepalese rupees, which is again a huge money. And then after I finished my bachelor degree, I went back to Nepal and did work in the rural part of Nepal as a project officer in agriculture. Then I decided to apply for the master degree, and I did a couple of things. I applied for the this Agri-Mundas program, which is commonly called Erasmus, which is European-based scholarship, and I was selected for there for more. They call it like they normally send the student to two different countries for a two-year program. So I was selected for University of Copenhagen in Denmark and then University of Milan, Italy. But I fortunately cannot join that program because at that time I didn't have the IELTS test, and at the same time we have a big earthquake back in 2015. So I have to quit that program. But the reason why I'm saying that is like if you have any queries about that, I could answer. That's why. And those um, blue line, that means like I got it, but I didn't complete it. And then I write the emails to several professors from all over the world. And at that time, being a Nepalese guy, the first thing comes in the mind is USA, Canada, and then I didn't think anything about Australia at that time. I didn't know why, but I got the email from lots of professors. They were willing to supervise me for my master degree from Canada and USA, but I decided to go to Thailand because of some personal reason or some interesting factors about that. Because the professor from Thailand actually was the world class professor in the biosystem engineering, and he was looking someone who has a knowledge in plant pathology or plant science. That's why I decided to go there rather going to USA or Canada. And it turned out to be a very fruitful journey anyway. So I actually benefit a lot from the Thailand degree than US or Canada, but it's just a personal basis. So what I'm saying here is like it depends sometimes where you ended up rather than like a fancy countries or fancy lab or fancy universities. Again, I was sponsored from Excellent Foreign Scholarship. So this is also the prestigious scholarship in Thailand. That is normally offered around 20 students from all over the world, but most of the students studying these courses mostly from the East Asian country and Southeast Asia like India, Nepal, China, Taiwan, and mostly from Vietnam and Cambodia. Again, it is like unlike Australia, it is a mini world itself. And I graduated with 7 research paper, which is the record breaking at that time, with very noble findings with some of the very useful paper in that field. So I'm not talking about the research for sure today because the purpose here is how to apply the scholarship and to make you aware about the scholarship opportunity. And then I ended up in Australia. So this program called Research Training Program, again, this is very competitive, globally sorted program. That means people from all over the world apply for this program who wants to do the PhD or Master by Research in Australia. And actually I applied for different university and I was accepted in all universities. And then at the same time, I got this CSIR or postgraduate scholarship, which is again very, very prestigious, which is normally offered to the Australian citizens or PR, but I was fortunate to get that. So what I'm saying here is like, I'm not boasting myself. What I'm saying here is like, I haven't paid a single penny from my nursery to until now for my PhD. So that's why I feel like I'll be a good candidate to speak or share this experience to all of you. So that's why I saw this. Uh, don't be so much serious about the profile. So the idea of this slide is I'm actually good enough to share the experience for this academic journey. That's right. Yeah. So basically, that's why you are here today. I divided in the different sections. I'll start with a little bit of motivational. The single questions that all over the world people ask you when you sit in the scholarship interview or any other kind of interview. So I give the name identify yourself. So I'll be telling what is exactly that. And then definitely what is scholarship. I'll give you what actually is scholarship and what is not a scholarship. Uh, and what to expect from a scholarship and worldwide scholarship scenario. And then I'll spend most of my time to describe about universities in Australia and what are the types of scholarship in Australia and how to apply application times. And I'll be happy to take in question and answer after this presentation. So identify yourself. This is the very fundamental thing about your thought process. So scholarship is not for everyone, and at the same time, scholarship is for everyone. So it's basically the first thing should be raised from your thought. So compare yourself before 3 or 5 years and uh, think yourself what you want to be after 5 years, and then evaluate yourself whether your academic interest has been decreased in past 3 or 5 years, or is there any factors that you can boost up your academic interest after 3 or 5 years. So that will definitely give you some uh, idea whether scholarship is for you or not, or whether you are made for some other purpose, not for scholarship, or you don't want to spend any time. But at the same time, the scholarship, when people talk about the scholarship, is mostly they think about the academic interest or academic merit. That is for sure, because the term scholarship itself is scholar plus ship. That means it comes from the academic interest. But that is not limited only to this academic interest, because there are lots of scholarship in the world that is granted based upon your need, based upon your arts, culture, sports, music. But today I'll be talking mostly about the academic interest, focused on the Australian scenario and Australian types of scholarship. But when I'm talking about the academic interest or merit, don't be discouraged. Maybe you have some other talents that I don't have. Maybe you have some other talent that other people don't have. Maybe you can apply through your culture capacity, through your sports capacity, through your arts capacity, or through your need base. Sometimes if you can write a good letter to the university showing you have a financial need, sometimes they provide a scholarship regardless of what academic interest you have. Or sometimes you have talent, but because of your financial circumstances or family circumstances, you cannot show that in your transcript. For example, if you can write a good letter telling them this is why I don't get the good academic record, then they can offer you scholarship. What I'm saying here is like scholarship is not only for the academic high achievers. Sometimes how you present yourself is also the determining factor for the scholarship. That's this the slide is showing. So if you go to the dictionary or Google it, technically the scholarship people say academic study or achievement. So again, you see here that they start with academic study. I drag this from Webster Dictionary or Oxford. I forget to cite it. Sorry for that. So they tell it academic study for sure, and they also call the achievement. So that achievement, not merely the academic, it could be any other things, what I mentioned before. So it should be at a high level. So this is a very key point here. So when you talk about the scholarship, you have to think about yourself. For example, you got a master degree scholarship already, and then after 3 years, you come back to the bachelor degree again and you apply for the bachelor scholarship. Does that work for you? So if you want to do the bachelor scholarship, you already spent 2 years of your master degree. That is a waste of resource or time or money. At the same time, it may be, unless you want to change the different field or your interest in your master degree, totally lost. But by definition, scholarship always should be at a high level. So you finish your bachelor, so your scholarship should be targeted for masters. You finish your master, your scholarship should be targeted to master by research, PhD, and so on. So that definition is telling you. Another definition I drag it is like, definitely when you talk about the scholarship, the grant or payment, right? Any grant or payment you get on the basis of the academic or other achievement, that is called scholarship. So that is what scholarship is called. So this is I did lots of research and I talk with the people from different scenarios, different countries, different background. I find like different kind of people who get the scholarship. So I frame it like scholarship should be viewed as a tool for success, not as an ultimate achievement. What it is means like, you got a scholarship for one degree. Is that the success? Maybe the success, but it is not an ultimate achievement. What I'm saying here is like, scholarship, use the scholarship as a tool to achieve your goal. So what makes you different from other people after getting that scholarship? You have to ask that question to yourself, whether after getting scholarship you build up your confidence and help shaping the better future, or this scholarship will help you to get recognition in the society or from the employer. And then the last point is really key, like people normally don't mention when they talk about the scholarship. Increasing network and connection is very key advantage of the scholar. I mean, those people who study with the fee paying and those people who study with the scholarship, the fourth point I'm showing here, in network and connection is very key for your future recognition. So don't think like, okay, I got the scholarship, that is in the end of the life or end of the study. No, it's just a tool, it is not a success. So like my example, I got a scholarship at every stage of my life. So let's think I got a scholarship in BSc or in master engineering. If I become very proud at that time and I stop performing, then my journey will be stopped there, right? So always think forward and then don't take it as an achievement, just take as a tool, take as a tool. So I'll give you the two examples for this. So I saw many people in Australia itself, they got a scholarship, and then they thought like, okay, the money I'm getting from the scholarship, definitely it is stress free because you don't have to go to the work because you're getting money, and then that will give you time to focus and study. But what people normally do here, not all, but some example, they got the scholarship, but in spite of shaping themselves, they use that money and then use all other time for the extra purpose, not for the academic or not for the what they are supposed to be doing after getting the scholarship, and then their achievement is stuff right there, and in the future it will be very trouble for them to get a job or something. So think that way. So take it as a different perspective. So don't think it is a ultimate success, but put it as a just a tool, and then ask this 4 questions to yourself. Okay, the first question is scholarship for me, so what is my capacity? And second question, whether this 4 point you can ask yourself, what is this for? So yeah, okay, let's jump to the all wide scenario. So normally when the people talk about the scholarship, it is categorized in different sections. So it will start with the global. Look, there are some like a very globally renowned scholarship. People like lots of the people know when you pronounce or spell them, like Fulbright from the USA, it is very world renowned scholarship. And then it comes to the regional area. Some scholarship are very famous in the region, like Southeast Asia, or East Asia or some African countries. So these are regional based scholarship, and some scholarship are very famous within the country. Like, I'll give one example of it, and then if you go down from the top to bottom, and there are some scholarship that are specific to the universities. Only that university offer you that scholarship. And then if you go into the university, again, there are different department, and each department has a different scholarship scheme or different scholarship requirement. So globally, like what I mentioned here, USA Fulbright, or UK Tebengin and Commonwealth Masters, and then Australia, I'll be talking this in detail. Australia Award, very prestigious. And then Europe Erasmus, and there is another called DAR from the Germany, and Canada Canadian government scholarships. In Japan, there is Max scholarship, which is again very reputed. Like most of the people from the Asian region and some of the people from the Europe and Asia wants to go to Japan just for that scholarship, and it's again very competitive. So it is almost competitive like Fulbright. So don't think in a way like the scholarship only provided in a big gun country. What people say in USA, UK is better, and this country is not better. It's not like that. So it depends where you are and what you want to do. And then even Thailand, like this HM King and Queen scholarship is very, very reputed. And then it gives you a very, very good opportunity to establish yourself in career-wise perspective in Thailand. In Thailand, if you go and do the job interview, and if you say, I have this scholarship, and people will hire you without any interview. So that is the reputation of the scholarship. And then I put it at blue because this is all I got it. And then I also got the HM King and Queen. I forgot to highlight that, but I decided to take EFS. And then I think there are some audience in the participant who achieve other scholarship. Maybe they can share if they want. So the what I'm saying here is like there are different kind of scholarship, and then depends on various factors. So not all scholarship are everyone. So you have to very, very specific what you want and what is your capacity, and don't apply to everything. And at the same time, try to ask your question, which is best for me, and which country, which course, etc., etc. So let's talk about the Australia. So that is the main topic for today. So I think like this slide is very useful for those people who wants to come to Australia or who are already here for different course, wants to apply for the scholarship, those who haven't got it yet, or who already get it scholarship, but they don't know what actually the university they belong to. So basically, Australia has 43 universities. Most of them are funded from the government for sure. And then two are international, international in a sense like two different, I mean, the countries that are, this university that are funded from different countries. I think one is German and other, I'm not sure which one is it. So these are funded from those countries, and then they establish that university here, and then all the process is going here, but the funding they will get from the tuition fee, everything, it will go to their country. So that is not related to Australia or anything. Only the Australia give them the place to build their university, and then that is the only thing. And then they have to pay rent to use the Australian soil or something. So two international university and one private university means like funded from the private agency, not from the government. So you, as you already see it, like in Australia, most of the top university and most of the good universities are coming from the government funding. I'm not saying like other are not good, but most of those are focused by the government. Like for those people who come from the Nepal or some other people, they think like a government university is not good, but in fact in Australia, government universities are best than the other kind of university. Anyway, they are just two international and one private, so you cannot compare much. So these universities are broadly divided into two categories, but not all fit in these two categories. This group 8 is top 8 universities in Australia, top 8 in a sense because they are largest at the same time they are oldest. So they are established around 1880s or late 80s, some universities even 1700. So they are very old. If they are old, then they already build the reputation. So they call it group of 8. So if you think about it from the scholarship perspectives for these universities, sometimes it's very competitive for some course here, and many people wants to go to these universities for the scholarship. And then the research they do here is very fundamental and very big questions. That means like the group of 8 try to answer very big questions that they want to solve. For example, COVID vaccine. So if you see the COVID vaccine, most of these university has a role. For example, any problem in the agriculture. So they do the very big question in fundamental research, and then the students have a freedom of using their fundamental knowledge. Fundamental in a sense that is not directly applied now, but that will build up the scenario or background for the future for 10 years or 20 years. You do research now, you do some study now, but that will be applied after 20 years or 10 years. So that's why they call it group of 8. And these 8 universities are on the top rank all over the world. And recently, these Australian Technology Network of University, they are very young universities. But what they do is like people talk about the linkage to the industry, and people talk about the job. Okay, we did the research, that's fine. We answer the big question, that's fine. But what is the job opportunities? So if you do the PhD from let's say University of Western Australia or master, if you don't get the job, if you don't sell yourself in the market, that works or not. So you have to ask the question to yourself. And recently these 4 universities here, they come with that idea. Okay, we are young, so established like just 50 years before, but we are better than those group of 8 universities. So they come with this terminological Australian Technology Network universities. What they do is they sell themselves. Uh, they advocate like we do the research that is directly linked to the industry or directly linked to the business model, something. So for example, Curtin University, if you think about the Curtin University, I personally belong to Curtin, my PhD has been done there. So they have a very good business course there. But if you go to the agriculture, and they don't have very strong agriculture program like UWA or some like ANU or something. But at the same time, they have a various networking to the industry. So you have that opportunity to get directly linked to the industry if you do the PhD or masters or bachelor in those university. At the same time, I'm not saying you don't have the access to other group of 8. You can also get opportunity there, but in this university, they are mostly focused to the industry partner. At the same time, they try to do the research that has the outcome in the very near future, not like 10 years, 20 years. So if you do something now, that can be applied immediately. For example, electric bus. Okay, so if people are around Cutting, they might have seen that electric bus moving around the Cutting premises. So these are very innovative techniques. At the same time, UTS, University of Technology, they come with like very nice innovative research ideas about the food processing. So what kind of food coating or something. So what I'm saying here is like you need to be aware if you want to apply to the Australia, or if you're already here, at least it is good to know the what type of universities, how many are there, and then which university is good for me, so that you can decide if you are very good in the science, very fundamental science, and you like to read the theory, Einstein theory or Darwin theory, whatever. So it might be the group of 8 is a better place for you. That can save you the very good fundamental research scientist in the future. Or but if you just don't want to do the big science, or if you just want to study and then get a job immediately, you don't care about the research, you don't want to be a research scientist, then it might be the good to go to the ATN university. So it's good to make yourself aware about these things. That's why I put that. And then if you look about those state-wise, obviously most of the universities are based on the New South Wales and Melbourne, Victoria, and that makes sense because these are the big guns states in Australia in terms of the population, in terms of the historical background. And then there is only 1 or 2 in Tasmania, that is the less number. Anyway, so just make yourself, if you want to apply, where you want to go and what type of university you have to choose. So don't apply to everywhere. So make yourself aware about those things. So yeah, so as I mentioned before, so today's webinar is mostly focused on those 6 points here. So I'll be starting with the Australia Award, though I don't have the direct experience with the Australia Award, but I did a little bit of research, and I have lots of friends who already got this award, my seniors, my juniors, or my batchmates. So I put down all the information that will be very useful for those people who want to apply. And I'll be talking about this Destination Australia Scholarship, which is very new schemes recently announced from the Australian government. And I'll be giving very broad overview of the research training program, because this Australia awards and destination scholarship is very country-wise or very specific. But the research training program, since we have a participant from USA or like from different countries, so RTP, if you're aware of that, then it will be applied to these rules apply to everyone, because the Australia award rule for the Nepalese student might not apply to the people from the Africa. So these are the regional based processors. So I'll be spending some time and talking about RTP program, and definitely I'll be touching about the CSIRO Upward Scholarship. If you don't know about CSIRO, this is the national agency for the Australian government, the group of scientists who are the advisor for the Australian government. So unlike in Nepal or India, so how Australia works is like you have the panel of scientists, you have a government agency, whatever the policy scientists say first, then only those people in the parliament, they follow that policy and then they apply it. So this is a very reputed organization. So it is also called the NASA of Australia. In other words, it is the best work culture place all over the world. They have a survey recently. So CSIR is the best place in the world to work with. So unfortunately, I'm working as a scientist here, so I'll be talking little bit of internal thing, what is hidden from you guys who are external, and what are the opportunities there that people normally circulate outside, and then how you can apply. So, and there are lots of project funded scholarships that are regardless of where you come from. Sometimes academic merit also doesn't matter for those scholarships. Sometimes networking is key, and sometimes your subject of interest is key. So I'll be talking about that. And then like small scholarship, like a kind of 1,000 voucher scholarship, 2,000 voucher. Sometimes university give you like a $2,000 for your accommodation. So I'll be talking about those other small scheme scholarships. So that is my plan for today, to talk to you guys. So let's start. So I have a problem in seeing the slide at the right hand side. Can you guys pop yourself off from the screen so that I can see the whole screen? Lakshmi?
Can you move your participants to top so that you can see?
Yeah, that's fine. But when I cannot see this, I can see you guys from here. Can I make it hide? Anyway, that's fine. So let's talk about the Australia Award. If you are in Nepal now, so it is very good time to think about this scholarship, because the application is open now, and then deadline is until 29 April. So each scholarship I have been designed to present you guys about the audience and subject interest. So the Australia Award is mostly for those people who wants to foster their leadership skill, and who already have a job in Nepal, for example, like a government employee, or those who are in the top level in the national NGO or INGO, and who wants to go back to Nepal and then continue their career there, and who want to be the leader in the future in the Nepalese community. It same applies to the Africa, same applies to the Bhutan, or applies to the India, but the scheme is different according to the country. And this Australia Award is only provided for master degree for Nepalese. So back then in 2050, they also offered the PhD for this award, but recently they stopped the PhD program, and they only offer those scholarship to the master degree for the Nepalese applicants. So currently for this year, these things slightly change every year, the target sector they call it. So if you don't fit in these target sectors, and just don't waste your time in research to research Australia Award. But if you think you want to go back to Nepal after you do your master degree, and then become a leader there for a couple of years, and then after doing job, then you can again come back to Australia after 2 years, or can go anywhere in the world. And it is very reputed in award, I would say, because most of the alumni who have done Australia Award scholarship, they are very reputed in their field. So it is good scheme. So have a look at it if you want to apply. So now they have these 8 sectors for this year, for 2022. For Nepalese applicant, it might be different for other. Please check according to your country. So the first one is disaster risk reduction. So this Australia Award, if you think about the history, how the Australia support to the developing countries. So what they want to see is like when in the globally. So if you have a big country in terms of finance or in terms of area, so there is always a mandatory. You'll have to support the developing countries or poor countries. I mean, I personally don't refer to say poor countries, but they have to help those countries in different ways. It can be through the education by providing scholarship. It could be through the sending the financial help, like so these days people are talking about those MCC from USA. If you are from Nepal, you might have heard that a lot. So this comes through the same way. So this is award is offered from the Australian government to those developing countries who want to come to Australia, spend a couple of years here, and then go back to Nepal, gain that skills and help Nepal or from wherever you are, and then develop the leadership. And then, so that is the scheme. So that's why they strictly tell you, like, you don't know, you don't allow to stay in Australia after you finish the degree, because that is designed to contribute to the home country, not to the Australia, unlike other scholarship. But at the same time, there are the exception. People also continue after doing the Australia. So that is the different topic. So there are 8 focal points for this year: disaster risk reduction, economic development, education, gender equality, disability, governance, health, NRM, and then sustain. So if you have interest in any of those sectors, and then if you are in Nepal or if you want to apply for the Australia award, this is the right time to apply for it. So the basic eligibility is you should be the Nepalese citizen if you're from Nepal, and then your partner should not be the Australian or Australian PR. So that is a basic criteria for this, and you are not allowed to stay in Australia for 2 years after you study. So they will book your return ticket right after you get a scholarship. So think about that. If you plan to stay in Australia after master's degree, then it might not be good scholarship for you in terms of your personal interest. Or if you are already government employed in Nepal, or if you have a business there, if you have a family commitment, if you have a family commitment, you cannot stay in Australia, then go back to Nepal. So it can be a good scheme for the 2 years. And then they ask you 6.5 IELTS academic, no band less than 6, but sometimes some of the course, I think health or something, sometimes they actually a little bit of 6.5, a little bit higher. And then they also have this PT and TOEFL. So have a look at it. So it's a good time now. So I can, if anyone is interested, I can connect you guys who already got this scholarship. So yeah, so let's talk about this Destination Australia scholarship. So this is based particularly recently, Australia government, they wanna broad their economy and all these things to the regional areas. Like they want people to go to the regional areas and then do their study or work to uplift the regional economy. And because Australia is a huge country, so there are so many places in regional, and then so they design this scholarship for those people who want to go to the regional and then do their study. So this is very new program announced in March 2019. So what they normally offer is like a $15,000 per year. And the beauty of this program is it's not only for the masters or PhD. They don't give to PhD. You can, if you are diploma, then bachelor and masters, everyone is eligible for this one. So if you are just starting your course in the TAFE in some regional area in Australia, or if you have just started your bachelor, it's a very right time. And already enrolled student can apply this. For example, if you are in second year after study, so if you have 3 years bachelor degree, if you are in second year, then your universities might have that scheme already announced or maybe announcing in future. So it's a good time to apply. And then $50,000 per year is very good handsome money for the students in Australia. And then that is actually technically it is 4 months money, because 2 months it's just a vacation in Australia. So you are earning around 3,200 per month from this scholarship. So that will give you a good life if you live in the regional area. So think about it if you want to apply for this. So every university has a different process for this. Normally university, the government give the fund to university and university administrate the process, application process. And they normally say it is based on the high achiever, those who are at high GPA level, but sometimes you never know, just try it. So, and then check university deadline. So I have listed the WA universities here because the UI is based on WA, and then so I'm basically very familiar with WA. So in WA, these times they have this number of 48 destination Australia scholarship offered in different universities like Calgary, Broome, Bunbury. So if you are around this area, or if you know any of your friends who are around this, just let them know so that they can earn $15,000 easily. And if they do not know, then this scheme will be gone to some other smart people. So the information is key here. So just let them know. It is very helpful. Yeah. So if you are very good in the GPA, they call it. Normally, they offer this scholarship for start from second year because they want to see your performance in the first year, whatever year course you are. So TAFE sometimes they have like 2 years course, 3 years course. So if you are applying now, if you are joining now, or if you are coming to Australia now and going to the regional area, think about it like, okay, this might be the option for me in the second year of my study. I can apply for this. So just let you know. So I'll be talking about this RTP program. So this is mostly for those people who are basically for those two kind of audience here. Those who are in Australia, those who are in Australia who finish this master degree or who want to apply for the PhD or master by research program. And then those who are in other part of the world who finish their study in their home country and then who wants to come to Australia for the PhD um, or master by research. So we already have like a couple of people here in the participant who already achieved this scholarship. So they wanna share their experience, they can share. But I'm very familiar with this program because I got this from 4 different universities, very competitive. So I have experience of 4 different universities, how to apply, how to process. And then it is viewed as a very reputed scholarship in Australia. And then if you go to any Australian university, the first thing people ask you when you're doing PhD, are you RTP scholar student or not? Because people don't care about the Australia award in Australia. So because that is based on the Australia. So it's very competitive how it functions. So government give money to the university, and then this only for the master by research and doctorate, and that should be the research program, not the course program. So it is particularly for the research doctorate and research master degree program, and they combinedly call these two degrees as a higher degree by research. So if you go to the any university and then Google it SDR, then you get that information about the master by research and research doctorate. Or it will be very useful for those bachelor degree student who are doing this honors degree. Mostly the people from our country, from other people, they normally don't do BSc honors, but this is very useful for those people who are already in Australia or Australian and people who are doing this honors degree. Is they already planning to do the RTP and they prepare their application almost like 1 year before the actual deadline. So now imagine the level of this scholarship. So if this is for you, then go for it. So they normally said this is based on, they have different categories. They call it academic merit. I'll be touching each one by one. What is academic merit and research experience and publication, referee reports and university rank. So for this RTP program, they normally want to see people with a S2A or H1. So S2A, H1 and S2A is a level of the program, degree program in the Australia. So it is above 75% in your master degree or bachelor degree. So sometimes the people with 90% will be rejected, but the people with the 75% will be accepted. So it is not only the single criteria. So there are other criteria. So if you have some paper conference already published, then you'll be a good candidate. And then referee reports from the home country, from home university where you are applying, and your past university where you come from. So that is very key. And this university rank, some university actually looked at it. So from where you are coming from, some university don't care because they don't believe in the university rank, because the people, myself, I came from the Thailand. So the university rank globally at that time was 525 of my Thai university. But I know people from Oxford got rejected at the same time I got the scholarship. So this is not the single window system. So there are so many factors that can impact your outcome. At the same time, so you need to be very careful about how you present your capacity. So don't be very discouraged if your academic merit is just 75% or 80%, and don't be very highly how to say motivated if you have 99 percentile. So it depends how you present. So if you have 5 publications, very good publication, if you have just 75%, then you'll make a good candidate. At the same time, if you're referee at the home country, give you a very good report, like, oh, this is the very outstanding student. So there are different selecting criteria for this. So it can be applied for both new and current students. very fresher want to apply, or those who are already enrolled here in PhD program in the different scholarship schemes. Like sometimes people only get the tuition fee, they don't get the stipend, so it is also useful for those who want to apply. And then application round and process again depends on the university. Like the G8 university, they have like multiple round because they accept lots of university, because government give them lots of money to those largest university than smallest university in terms of the number of students. So it again depend on the rest, but normally the rule is that September is the deadline every year. So the September of every year will be the deadline for most of these 43 universities to apply for the RTP program. But some university has domestic round, international round, some have like a round and round two for both domestic. So you have to go and check the particular university website to see the deadline. But the roughly, if you remember, the September is the deadline for almost all the universities. So IELTS is 6 generally, but some universities up to 6.5 or 7, or some if you go to the PhD in education or PhD in English, not English, PhD in nursing, sometimes they ask you 7 each band. So basically 6 is the uh, cutoff IELTS score. And sometimes again, so if you don't have, for example, they ask you 6.5 each band and you have 6 overall, sometimes you can write, okay, this is why I didn't achieve 6. You can always support your argument. So don't think everything, I mean, my experience in my life is everything depends on how you present. Sometimes the rule they point out, the clause doesn't matter. So they said 6 is band, 6 point each band, you have 6, then still you can make a good case why you don't get a 6.5 and why you can still make a good achievement. So when I got the university in Adelaide, when I applied my RTP, I didn't have IELTS score. And then professor was already interested to me and he write me, okay, um, I don't have a doubt about your English, but according to the rule, university rule, you have to do the IELTS, and I didn't have IELTS at that time. And then he believed me. He believed on me, and then he told me 6.5 each band at that time. And then I think no, 7 each band in the research program. And then I got 6.5 in one of the writing, my first attempt in IELTS, and then I don't have any problem because they never say I need 6.5 each. So it depends how you present it. So sometimes when you do it, and then there might be the very high qualifying criteria, you might be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. So even if you don't have IELTS 6, go for it and then write to the professor, this is why. So my purpose here is to make a people simplify about the scholarship, not to make complicated. I don't want to present like a very high achieving things. I want to make everyone comfortable and everyone is eligible and everyone has a right to get this scholarship. So keep that in mind. So whatever written sometimes can be changed. So yeah, largest university has largest allocation because at the same time, because they have more applicants, more students, and this is very good for those who are already have master degree in Australia and looking for PhD. So think from now. So this is very good program, and I could say that because I also got that, and then I can feel that it is very good reward for you in the future too. So I'll be focusing on how to this could be generalized in any kind of scholarship. So if you are doing if you finish your bachelor degree from Tribhuvan University in Nepal, or if you finish your bachelor degree from some Malaysian university and you want to apply for the master degree from USA, Australia, whatever countries, the first thing is you have to approach to your prospective supervisor. So if you go to the Google or YouTube, you'll see like 100 different kinds of how to frame email to the prospective supervisor, but sometimes they never tell you what exactly it is. So I have written around 100 150 emails to the professor throughout my career. I started writing right from my BSc degree, so almost like 9 years ago. And then so I could tell like what is the different things they actually look at those emails, and then how you can frame it and what is the expected outcome. So I keep on writing. When I write in my after my bachelor degree, when I look at back now, oh, I was so silly because the writing I write at that time is very, very, very funny. If I look at now, then I keep on writing, and then I save myself a good writing and communication skills. So this is very key if you want to do a master's program or a PhD program or master by research, and it is very, very important. This is the first step or milestone to get scholarship for any master program or PhD program all over the world. So think about it seriously. Just don't write, okay, dear, whatever it is, I want to do PhD or master in a program. Can you take me? So they'll immediately out reject you. So this is based on my experience. It could be different way people can frame it. So I write 150 mails. I got reply from 137, 38 professors. So I could say like I have framed it well. So basically it started definitely dear doctor or dear whatever it is. So again, it depends on which country you are applying. So if you are applying to Indian universities, for example, you finish your bachelor in Nepal and then you want to apply PhD in Indian universities or Thailand universities, then you start with dear doctor or dear sir, that's fine. But if you are applying to the Australian universities, American, Canadian universities, unless that professor is from very Indian origin or Nepalese origin, don't write doctor or don't write the sir. So I saw many, I have a networking to many good professor. If they see the email, dear so if they see the email and if it has dear sir, then they will not open your email anymore. So make sure like where you are applying and whom you are writing. So those professors who are very typical Australian, American, Canadian, they prefer to write the name like dear Mark or dear Suraj or dear Roshan, dear Cool, whatever. Just start with the name. If you are applying for those country, they don't care about your about what you say. By that way, they feel like they are very comfortable and you already know their name. So you have already done the research about him or her. So that's making you attached to them. If you just start with dear sir, they feel like, okay, this guy's even don't remember my name. He's writing sir, so they reject you. So email also depends where you apply and whom you are addressing. So if I, when I applied, write the email to the professor in Australia, I always like dear Marcus or dear. Then when I write email to the Thai professor, then I'll write like dear doctor, and then I always quote the name. I never say the dear sir or dear man, because when you go to the master's or PhD level, sir or ma'am has a different meaning. But so sir or ma'am is different kind of meaning. It doesn't make any sense to those people who are very Australian nature or American nature. So write dear doctor or just hi, just start with that one. And then it's good to frame the email in 3 different sections. So you introduce yourself, you present what you are doing now, and you start with, okay, I'm research student. This is my email that I wrote to some of the professors. So I normally introduce myself. I'm a research student at blah, blah, blah. And then I'm currently working on this, and my research has this uh, advantage, and then I came to know your project, so I feel like it would be fit for me. What you want to say in this first paragraph is like you introduce yourself and then you connect yourself to that professor or supervisor so that they will feel comfortable to take you. And then second, you talk about your past. Okay, so okay, you are doing masters, but before you might have done bachelor degree, or maybe you are applying directly from the bachelor degree. You might not need the second paragraph. It depends upon your scenario. And then you write a little bit about your past project and how it is connected to your present project and future project. And very key is the future, so the last paragraph. So you are writing about your past, present, and you are connecting that findings or whatever, and then you are saying, okay, this is why I'm very fit for your project or for your universities. And then if you frame this way, I bet you like every professor will reply you, because that is my experience. So think about it. If you want to apply for master by research PhD, just take it seriously. Take the email very seriously. Uh, Currently, also I'm eligible supervisor in Australia. So if anyone wants to do PhD with me, then I'm eligible now. So what would I normally see is if I normally, dear sir, I want to do PhD with your program. If you are from Nepal, I'm from Nepal, then I'll never open that email. I'll throw that to the bin. If someone come with hi Roshan or hi Dr. Roshan, I have seen your research, I have this present past, then I'll communicate with them. So think it seriously. So sometimes 50% of your scholarship is guaranteed from the email reply from prospective supervisor, or sometimes 100% guaranteed. So this is very key. So, okay, you write your email. So it can be like 4 different scenarios. You can never get reply from the professor or supervisor. So don't confuse the supervisor and professor. So all professor cannot be supervisor, or all supervisor cannot be professor, but I use that term quite frequently. So think about that. Supervisor is professor or professor is supervisor in this scenario, whatever I'm talking now. Sometimes you never get a reply. I have one friend like who write like 1,500 emails. So he finishes BSc degree from Nepal and then he write almost all the professor from US, Canada, Australia. He never get a reply, none of them. And then he keep on writing that for like 2 years. And at the same time, he was doing job in the Nepal in some of the NGO. He never get the reply. So I don't know what terrible thing he has done. So if you don't get the reply, then that might be different things, like he or she might not interested to you. He doesn't like your profile. So it doesn't waste any time to reply you. Sometimes this email you send might go to the junk email or spam. So because your email is not registered to their email address, because sometimes these organization university only accept filter out the email that is unknown and send them to the junk. So that might be the issue. Or sometimes the professor or supervisor are in the holiday for like 2 months during Christmas period or Easter period, then they don't check the email frequently, so you never get the reply. So my advice for this is like, if you don't get the reply for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's just a rule of thumb. It is not an absolute number, 2 or 3 weeks or one. So just remind them politely after like 3 weeks or 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Hi, I wrote an email back then, but haven't heard about you. I am wondering whether you have got that email or not. Most of the time, if the issue is a junk or holiday or never check email, then they might reply you after that. Or if they are not interested, then they never reply. Just forget about that professor supervisor because he's not interested in you. So that is the first scenario. Second scenario would be like they reply, but they already have enough students to supervise. For example, you have a brilliant profile and you have a brilliant courtesy, courtesy, the way you frame the email. So he likes or she likes you, but his lab or her lab has enough people and they cannot supervise you, and then they reply you politely, hi Lakshmi, I like your profile, but unfortunately I cannot supervise you at this moment because I already have enough students. So so that means you are not going to that lab or that university. So but what you want is now these two things at the bottom. So you want a reply and you want the professor to tell you, okay, apply for the scholarship, I want to supervise you. Or sometimes like you send the email to a little bit off aligned supervisor that is not directly aligned to your interest, but he or she is very interested to you. So he or she might tell, okay, maybe I'm not appropriate for you, but I can let you connect it to other supervisors. So this can be the scenario. So what we want to see is like point 3 and point 4, and think about the point 1 seriously. Sometimes if you don't get a reply, double check, send them the remind email. Yeah, so this is again the so my experience. And then they normally send email, they come to you. Sometimes even the research you are doing or the course you are doing is directly not matched, but they are interested to you and then tell you, okay, can we have a Skype conversation, I am willing to take you. Or sometimes they are directly saying you, okay, go for the scholarship, I'm willing to help. So if you get this mail, that is almost like 50 or 100% of the scholarship guarantee. So other thing is just organizing the documents. So take the email seriously. That's why I focus most of my time today about the framing email and then how to expect after you write the email. All right, so but not all the university in Australia allow the students directly write email to the professor or supervisors, because they want to imagine like if these people are very busy, this supervisor, they have lots of projects, they have lots of postdocs or lots of research technicians, they have many projects, and they have very limited time to give to the reply email to the new students. So what normally some student come up this idea, they don't want you to directly apply to the universities because these professors are busy, as I said, and they caught the applicant right from the first email. What I'm saying here is like you have to express your interest first. Okay, I want to apply for the scholarship to your university for this course. Um, this is how I want to do. Then what they do is they have a website called expression of interest. You have to find the supervisor for sure. You have to name two supervisor and then write the supervisor name and that expression of interest and write a brief research proposal. Basically, it is the same thing what you wrote in your email, what I showed before, the brief research proposal, your background, and your purpose supervisor. You have to find your purpose supervisor for sure. And then sometimes they ask you a CV or sometimes they don't ask you CV at this stage. And then you write that to the administrative officer or personal assistant of the professor, and then they check your profile. And then if your profile is good looking, and then only you can apply for the scholarship. So sometimes you can directly email to the professor. If you email by accident, you never get a reply. That is not because you are not good, that is because the policy is different. For example, for my case, I applied to University of Melbourne. At that time, I didn't know, like, I have to go through this process because I write the professor, what is his name, Professor Jim Hay. So can you see the screen here? It is readable for everyone. If not, then I can just read for you. Yeah, so there is a professor in the University of Melbourne whose name is Professor Jim Hay. So he's very reputed in that, and I write him email directly, and then I used to get reply, and then why he's not replying me? I was very surprised, and then I did little bit of um, research on the University of Melbourne website, and then actually the process I was doing is wrong. Actually, I'm not allowed to write the email to the supervisor. What I have to do is write email to the to supervisor personal assistant and apply the expression of interest, and then they check your email, and then only that administrative or personal assistant will come to you. Thank you for your expression of interest regarding postgraduate study in the faculty of veterinary and agriculture science, because my background is that. When I apply this program, and then they'll say, I'm pleased to inform you that Professor Jimmy has recommended that you submit a formal application, and then you submit the application. No interview, no Skype, no Zoom, nothing, and just apply the formal application. So keep in mind, sometimes if you want to apply to University of Melbourne or in WA, Murdoch University also has this scheme. I mean, they don't allow you sometimes like write the email to the supervisor for a PhD program. You have to go to the expression of interest, and then one person will be in touch with you. So this is also very good to aware with. So keep in mind. Yeah, so mostly I already talk about this PhD and master by research, but that there are so many things people don't know. Like this slide I especially made for those people who are already here, those who are doing master degree, who finish master degree, and then who are planning to do PhD or do the master by research. Don't confuse with the master and master by research. Master is just the course, and then master by research is the research-based degree, higher degree research. So if you are already enrolled in the university around Australia now, be familiar with the research project, what kind of research they are doing, whether you are interested in that or not, and then try to take advantage of your tutor or lecturer class. Yeah, like cool here, so he's a vice president of YUWA, so he did his master degree, and then he communicated the lecture and he got a job in the project there. So there's another Anjana maybe here, so she also got the scholarship that way. So what I talked before is very legitimate process. You have to go through all this competition, but there are some other schemes that you have not need to go through all these things, and you can directly approach and try to take advantage of that. So if you're already here, if you're going to university now, or if you're planning to go to university in future, then talk to the lecturer, be very frank. And because in Australia, people like the people who are very frank, who talk. They don't like the reserved people. uh, yeah, so try to be frank, and then try to publish at least one conference or journal, then definitely you'll get a project funded scholarship. So keep in mind, sometimes if you feel you are not competitive, or if you feel RTP is not for me, or you miss the deadline, or the project that RTP announced is not aligned to your interest, then there are so many other options. So the only thing I can suggest here is be familiar with the projects in your university or other university around Australia. Talk to the tutor or lecturer, and then if you find some lecturer who is of your subject interest, then communicate with him, make a good relationship, very professional relationship, and then publish one. to journal, then you might get a PhD opportunity in the future for sure, or a master by research. So think about it. Yeah, so there is another scheme. They call it equivalent to RTP. Each university, like government, give the fund for the RTP scholarship to the universities, but at the same time, university has to fund some of the applicant through their fund, through the tuition fee they raise, not from the government, from their fund. So the tuition fee the student pays or all the other fees or any external agency. So they normally have like, I don't remember the percentage. They normally sort out like 10% of total RTP. For example, if you have 100 RTP scholarship, like 10 student might get this scholarship from the universities. So if you go to the university, they normally name this according to the university name, like Curtin scholarship, okay, Melbourne scholarship. So this is equivalent to RTP. All the facilities you get, all the money you get is equivalent to RTP, but it is mostly for those people who miss the RTP round or who are not selected there, then they can be considered in this round. So for example, the score of, you have 9.5 score and then cutoff score is 9.8 and you miss that scholarship, then this will be very useful for you. So you can apply to the university scholarship that is almost a RTP. So technically there is no difference. Again, the supervisor play a major role here. So if supervisor has a project, he wants to take the RTP student, but RTP normally comes to the whole selection criteria. So there is a first competition, and then that professor student miss on that RTP round, then he can apply this for his student. So for here, her student, okay, I had one student, two students who apply RTP, he or she didn't get selected. I want to take him through this university equivalent RTP, then you'll be selected. So there is always option. So think about it. And again, you need to be your profile should be similar to that. Sometimes it's just a matter of a numbering. So don't be discouraged if you don't get RP. There is another type of scholarship here. So I have so many friends who got this scholarship in Australia. Some Deakin, Curtin, University of Melbourne, almost all the universities. So yeah, keep an eye on this one also. So this is normally, actually I'm not allowed to present that, but I'll do it because normally CSIRO don't allow the people to talk about their stuffs on behalf of other thing. But I'm a CSIRO guy, so I can talk about this now, because you never see this CSIRO kind of stuff anywhere in the presentation in the Australia or anywhere in the world, because they only want the authentic people to talk about this. So, but I'm a CSIR guy now, so I'll be talking about this. And I already got this scholarship also before. So this is very, very good scheme. So this is useful for the new student or for those who are already enrolled in the university. For example, you already got the PhD scholarship in one of the university, or you already got the master by research scholarship, then you can apply this scholarship. That will be an extra benefit for your income or your profile. And another thing is you can directly apply to the university. You can find one supervisor from the CSIRO, and then, okay, I want to do the, at first you have to apply for the university to take the admission. You got admitted, then you can apply to the CSIRO for the scholarship. So there is this scheme also. They normally say the Australian citizen or permanent residents, but yeah, that is true, but I don't quite believe on that, because um, I was not Australian citizen when I got that, and I saw three of my friends who are not either Australian citizen PR, they got it. So um, even they say it, even if you don't have the resistance requirement, go for it if you are high achieving students. Uh, yeah, for the international student, basically the first evidence they ask you is whether you have admitted to the Australian university or not. The first scenario here is like you have to be admitted. And for the admission is nothing. You just apply to the online, and then they gather your transcript, then you get the getting the admission offer is very easy in Australia. It's not tough. They only want to know their financial status, but and you can apply this scholarship after you already get the admission offer from the university. So you can apply to the admission only, and then you can target for this scholarship later. And then in CSIRO, we have like different priority research areas like universities. So you have to find one or two priority research areas. For example, I have my priority research area now in the CSIRO, and some other people have different. So even if you are very talented, that doesn't match my priority research area, then I cannot take you. So just for example. And then you need one CSIRO supervisor and one university supervisor to get a scholarship. Sometimes one supervisor can be both. For example, in my case, when I did my PhD, my CSIR supervisor and university supervisor was same. So I was quite fortunate on that. I don't have to find another supervisor. So if you are interested on that, and then please leave the email to the UI email, then I can explain you in detail. But what I find recently is this RMIT CSIR Master by Research Scholarship. So this is very good scheme. So RMIT is based on University of Melbourne. So we CSIR have a special collaboration with the RMIT. Those people who want to do the Master by Research in RMIT, then CSIR fund the whole Master by Research program on behalf of the RMIT. So I'll be talking that in the next slide in little bit of detail. And it is again very useful for those who already finished master here or bachelor, or who are in Nepal, who have like around more than 80 percentile or 3.5, or whose research is directly aligned, then this is very good scheme. I didn't know that before. I recently knew it, so I want to share that to you guys. So yeah, so they call it above average student, but this is very arbitrary thing. So sometimes I find like very difficult to judge students or people based on the number. So they call it above average. So they don't call it like a very talented. So that means like above 75% or 80%. But again, it depends like what other people are applying, whom we are competing with. Sometimes, for example, I have this scheme in my project. I didn't get any candidate, and you are the only one candidate, then you get that offer, right? So don't be too much serious about the ordering thing, especially in Australia, because Australia is the kind of country where everything can be changed if you can present that way. So I put that above average student because I don't like to put high achieving student, because again, whom you said the high achieving. So above average is like 75, 80. Your research interest is aligned. And then they gave you currently this year, CSIR giving 31,260 per annum for 2 years for the master by return, and then your tuition fee will be offset, so you don't have to pay the tuition fee. Yeah, so they have this. I drag down this from the CSIR website. So this is unfortunately this is only for the engineering and science program. We don't accept the people from the humanities or management, unfortunately, for this particular program. And then yeah, again they said Australian citizen, Australian permanent, and then the beauty of here is like they also include this international student, right? So this scholarship is also for the international student meeting the minimum English requirement, means 6 in this scenario. And then so evidence of good oral and written communication skill. Again, if you don't have the IELTS and your bachelor degree or master degree is English speaking country, or all the course are in English, then you don't need to do the IELTS too, because this project is very specific to the supervisor. If he's very interested to you, and then you might not do all these things, right? And then you need to, so I mean, if in the CSIR they really want to see you like your personality, like your character, your history, about how you perform in the multidisciplinary research team. For example, the reason why I'm success in the CSIR is I have like a diverse research background, and then I come from the different, because I have a Nepalese profile. I know the people from Nepal. I know the whole Indian research scenario, and then I know the Thai people. When I was in Thailand, I knew the Vietnamese, Cambodian, and then Sri Lankan, all the South Asian. And then I came to Australia, and then I become a globally. So they're mostly interested to those people who have the multidisciplinary research team, and then exposure to those people. Again, you might not have all this, but you can write that way. You can frame that way. That's why my tips for you. And RMIT entry requirement is, if you have all these things, then you almost achieve this program. So right now in RMIT we have a food science program for this scholarship. If you know any of your friends who are interested to the food science, and then unfortunately he's also from Nepal, so we have a chat yesterday. Okay, I have this scheme, I'm talking tomorrow, and then he is willing to, okay Roshan, if you know someone, then just let me know, then I can offer this. So if you are from the food science background, if you want to do master by research, if you roughly match this criteria, be in touch again. So it will be good scholarship for you. All right, so yeah, so basically it's how to apply. If you go to the MIT this scholarship, then you can link how to apply, and then you find research topics. if you go to research topics, then you'll say different research topics, but if you go there food science or something, then I know that guy, and then he might be able to help you. Before approaching him, just write me an email, and then your brief proposal, or I don't need proposal, brief CV, or just write an email to me, and then I can forward this to that guy, and then he might be able to give you scholarship. Yeah, so I call it a statement to outline your interest or academic. So just write me outline of interest, or just tell your friend to write to me if you want to do this scholarship, particularly for the food science. Yeah. So there, on top of that, there are like a project funded scholarship. So in Australia, like Australian government also give the funding like to the scientists directly. So basically you get money from the Australia to run the project. So if you are a lecturer, professor, or a postdoc or research scientist, so everyone are allowed to advocate to Australia, okay, this is my research idea, I want to get funded for this project, and this is my financial plan. Then, and it is very competitive again, and then supervisor secure that funding from the Australian government. And normally you don't need to worry about how the funding works, but what is relevant here is normally they hire 1 or 2 PhD scholarship per project. So if you are a research scientist in university, and then you write a proposal and you get the fund, and you have that capacity building to hire 1 or 2 PhD student in your project, and then it can be set at any time. So it can be fulfilled within a week, within a day, or it can take 1 year to fulfill, because that is solely depend on your project supervisor, the supervisor of that funding. So if he is interested to you, sometimes even don't see your CV, like for example, your lecturer got the ARC funded project in your university, then if he's interested to you, then you can be directly selected with PhD project, right? So yeah, these are the hidden things, like people normally don't take these things out, but there are so many opportunities in Australia. So that's my purpose today, to let you guys know. And networking is key again. My experience tell this project funded scholarship, they normally uh, even don't advertise you the formal application. They just tweet in the Twitter, okay, I got this project funded, if anyone interested, then they put in the Twitter, and then that Twitter will be seen by everyone in the world, and then people write there, okay, this, and then it's very informal way of approaching. This is not like a very competitive process coming to the university, right? So networking is key. So I'll suggest you, if you are interested in these things, follow the people in the Twitter around your research background, try to find the key person in your research areas, and then be in touch with them. And then if they have this opportunity, then they'll let you know. So now cutting, so it might, so this project are for every university, and then I took these 2 examples from the cutting now. They have this project going on, so they are hiring 1 or 2 PhD for each program. So one is on this organic remains of insects. I don't know what is that means. Another is in fossil study. So what I'm saying in this slide is there is other way of doing PhD or master by research. So that is solely depends on the professor, and then networking, and then supervision, right? So keep an eye. So there are so many things. So for this is networking is key. For example, if I wanna hire someone, and then I already know it, and then I already know his credibility, then I'll hire him or her, rather than opening the long application process and then going through that, blah blah blah. Right. So I call it project funded scholarship. So have a look at it if you are interested. On top of that, there are like a very long list of scholarship. If you go to every university website, and if you go there, like a future student, current student, and international student, like they have different scheme for all these students. It depends whether you are future student or current student or international student. So that decide upon your personal circumstances, right? So for example, uh, right, sometimes they give you a one-time payment, okay? So if you are already a current student and you have a financial problem, and recently, like many universities, because of this COVID situation, they give that funding. For example, you are fee paying students, and then your job has gone because of COVID. You cannot go because you are getting paid according to your working hour, right? So university have this scheme, okay? You can they have like $750 per one time payment, or for 1,000 2,000. I don't remember the number, but there are these kind of schemes. So So this is again useful. $1,000 you get for nothing, right? So have a look. So the main thing is here is like you have to make yourself aware what's going around you. Sometimes these funding are there, but many students don't know that they have this scheme, and then this money will go freeze, and then that the money in that budget cycle will go freeze, and neither you get benefited nor university will get that money back. So it is good to look at it and then apply whatever you are eligible for. And then and recently Cotton has this scheme 2022 starter support scholarship. What they did is like those people who are impacted with the cutting and who have a problem in starting in physical, then they provide you $2,000 or some fee remissions, some discount in it, something. So what I'm saying is go to the university website and then find these sections, whatever applicable to your future, current, or international, and then try to find the list of scholarship that is applied. Even $100 apply it. Sometimes they just want to survey your experience in the university and they give you $100 voucher. So nothing to lose. So be aware about that also. I think that's what I have to say today. So if anyone wants to share who already been through this scheme, then just unmute and share, or if you have any question, then I'm happy to take the question here. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Roshan, for the beautiful presentation. So it is very helpful. Hope everybody like it. So if you have any questions, guys, you can feel free to ask him. So leverage his time. Anybody?
You can, is there any message to the chat?
There is no message.
Okay.
You can unmute yourself and ask the questions if
Yeah,
you like.
you can unmute now if you want to talk. Or if you don't have question now, you might have question in the future, because these things I present might be applied to you after 2 years or sometimes 3 years. So you can always ask the question to the UI email, and then we can
No
try to,
questions?
yeah.
So we got one question.
Hello, hi. I have a question.
Hi, Jasmine.
Yeah, hi, Roshan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am Jasmine from India.
Yeah.
And India, Jammu and Kashmir. And actually, I have a research background in
Yeah.
microbiology.
Okay.
And I did my master's in biotechnology.
Yeah.
And I have 4 years of research experience in CSIR, India.
CSI,
And
I mean CSI India. Okay,
CSIR.
okay. Yeah.
CSIR.
I know
Council
that.
of
I know
India.
that.
Yeah. And I have 3 publications and 1 patent. And I'm planning to move to Perth next year. And I want to know what are the opportunities for me in future. Can I apply there for any scholarship?
Okay, so yeah, thanks for the question, Jasmine. So you said like you're already planning to come to Perth, right? So
Yeah.
sure.
Actually, my fiance is in Perth, and he has PR also.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm planning to move to Perth next year.
So you are interested to do the PhD program, or?
Yeah. I'm interested to the PhD
I
there.
think yeah, don't take it personally. So your bachelor degree is from India, right?
Yeah.
Bachelor.
BSc honors in biotechnology for 4 years professional degree.
Oh, that's good. I think, and you have 3 publications.
Yeah, 3 publications and
And
1
one patent.
patent.
I think you'll be a good candidate for whatever the things I show you. So that might be applied to you for accept that destination scholarship, because they
Yeah,
give
I
it to
did
the,
my internships in both the degrees, in bachelor's also and master's also.
yeah.
And
So
yeah.
so Jasmine, that the first thing, like I already spent lots of time describing that email. So the first thing now is framing the email and writing to the supervisor. And then given your background, whatever you said, like having 1 patent is itself a great achievement. So what is your patent about?
Yeah, sorry.
What is your patent about? So you said you
Yeah,
have
it
1.
is about antibiotic. Yeah, it is
Okay.
about antibiotic.
So yeah, I just give
Antibiotic
you.
for microorganism. Yeah.
Okay, so I give you like 3 different steps of suggestion here. So
Yeah.
at first, so you are already moving to Perth. That means the Perth University is your option for sure. So you don't have any other choice for other states. So try to look at the Perth universities, and then the first thing, decide which university you want to apply, or you can apply to all university. And second thing, try to find the professor, supervisor.
Okay.
So and then write a very good email
Yeah.
what I saw, and then I think they will come
Yeah,
back
I
to.
have worked in various different projects. Like I have worked in Department of Biotechnology India project and also
Yeah,
the CSIR funded projects.
and
So
I
I've
think,
worked in
yeah,
two
you are
different
a good
projects.
candidate.
Yeah.
You are a good candidate because as I see, like if you have an honors degree, I also did my bachelor from India, right? So I did from Allahabad. So if you have a BSc honors degree, and then you have 3 publication, 1 patent, and then you have
Yeah,
multidisciplinary.
and masters in also
Yeah,
biotechnology and three publications and one patent and also 4 years of research
yeah,
experience.
I think you'll be a very, very high competitive candidate. The only thing now is like you are competitive, you have to show that to the prospective supervisor you are competitive, right? The way you frame
Okay.
the email. Because again, these days, like they're very, very competition. Sometimes you have to be little bit the right time at the right place. You write the email to the professor, they reply you, your job done. So I can guarantee if the you write
So
professor
please help
email,
me, Roshan. Please help me
yeah,
to
and then
help me. Yeah.
given there is no doubt in your profile for sure, but
I'll send you
sometimes,
my resume
yeah,
also.
yeah, sometimes you have to frame that and then write email, try to find the research areas, priority areas, like the whatever you
Okay.
want to do, and then write email. Then I'm sure you will get some given your profile in future.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
no problem.
Hi,
Saru, you can ask the question if you.
hi, I'm Saru from Melbourne. Hello.
Can you just unmute and then on if you feel comfortable, show the video so that I can know who is talking.
Yeah, actually, I have already unmuted myself.
Oh yeah, that's all right. Okay, okay. I sorry. Yeah, I can see you. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I am actually currently residing in Melbourne, and my question is, does only the university provide scholarship or also the colleges?
Okay, so by the college you mean the? Can you name some name of the some college?
Like Stotts College in
Yeah, so that is the different topic. I mean, most of those scholarship actually the administered by Australian government, and then it normally go through that track of the universities through these 43 universities, right? I don't think college will provide you the full scholarship, and then it's a, I mean, different consultancy know better than me in terms of the college. And what I can know is like they can provide you some fee remission, some percentage, but most of these scholarship are particularly focused for the universities, unfortunately. But yeah, so for the college I cannot advocate much, but what I know is they can sometimes provide you some percentage fee, but you don't get the full scholarship, if I'm right. Yeah, sorry, I cannot tell anything more than that in terms of college. But again, so the destination scholarship, so you are based in Melbourne regional area, or?
no, just
Yeah,
Melbourne.
so I mean that destination scholarship would be apply for you, but unfortunately you are again in the not in the regional area, so that would not work for you. Sorry for that. Yeah, but in future, if you are already in Australia, you are doing your bachelor in college, but if you want to transit to the university in the future, then you can take these tips and apply in the future for the universities if you are interested. Yeah,
Thank you for the presentation.
yeah,
It's
no problem.
helpful.
Any more questions? Hello, I can see you, Deepak sir. You want to say something about Australian aid for those participants here?
Hello, Roshan brother. How are
Hi.
you?
He's a recent, I'll just give a brief. He's a recent graduated Australian award, very good educational scholarship in Nepal. So he's a educational leader in Nepal. So I work under him when I was doing my agriculture officer. So if you want to share something, or if you have some question, I'm happy to answer. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for your nice presentation, and which is very insightful for new students who want to go to Australia, study masters, and even do for PhD. One question, uh, I recently finished my Australia Award Scholarship, and I did my Master of Educational Leadership. from the University of Adelaide, and I have been in close contact with my supervisor, and I'm in line with applying for my PhD in education. And then in 2024, beginning of the year, I will join the university for my PhD. A question for you is, as you mentioned, the PhD applicant or scholars, they can apply for CISRO scholarships, which is in addition to it, but I think there is no any options for education stream. Is it right?
Yeah, I mean, they call it the National Science Agency Organization, CSIR.
Yeah.
That's why all these programs are highly focused on science and engineering. But at the same time, CSIR has those aligned programs. So they hire the education expert or sustainable development expert to advise the scientists there. So, so it is not totally not available. There is something there. So you have to identify which one fits you. So so you have to find which research aligned, because we have those we have three different non-science things that's going on now in the cutting in the CSIRO. One is a sustainable development, because they want to see sustainable development whatever we do now. Another thing is like they hire this project manager, and then there's a consultant, and they mostly come from the education background, right? My HR manager is education from education background, so there is opportunities there. But again, you have to convince, like in CSR in particular, you have to convince your research or whatever you have done in your master PhD, how it can be applied to the benefit of the Australian economy or Australia. So if you can show that, I think that there will be some opportunity. Or if I know something in the future, then I'll let you know. So it is not totally dark. There is something there.
Thank you. Thank you. And besides this, as in the first slides you mentioned about the Australia Award Scholarship, I see in the beginning we had around 21 participants. Now we are in 16.
Yeah.
Many of the people whom I know and the people who know me, they have been also applying for Australia Awards Scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah, and as previously you mentioned, it's a good one. Those who want their academic upliftment and get higher degrees from this reputed, prestiged scholarship. So they can reach to me. They can ask me some questions. There are some like points.
You want me to show that slide if you wanna make comment, because yeah, this one. Maybe you can comment on that if I miss something.
Yeah, and like in the subject area, these are all fine. I have one point to share in my laptop, actually, regarding how they can develop the application and its supporting documents. Actually, it says development impact and linkages plan. So it's more internal. So if anyone is interested, they can reach to me, and I will help them how to frame them. Because
so what we can do now, Deepak sir, is like if someone approach you or me or any of us, then I'll take you as a resource person on behalf of Australia Award.
Sure. And regarding the IELTS requirement, even if it's 6.5 with no band less than 6, is standard one. But for the women and the people from marginalized communities and the government officials, it's 6 overall, and 5.5 is band for the selection only. But later, the university if requires 6.5, and then you have to give again the test and reach to the required band.
That's why I told, like, don't depend on the paper only. So there are so many options. That's why I focused on presentation that way. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Deepak, so that's valuable suggestion. And then so you'll be the resource person if anyone wants to ask question about Australia Award.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for the questions. We have got one question from Fanny as well, but like because of the time limitation, we may not provide the answer of annual. So feel free to message or like email and yuaustralia@gmail.com that we have shared it to you on the chat box as well. So thank you everyone
Yeah,
for coming, and thank you, Roshan, Dr. Roshan, for your nice presentations, which was very insightful and helpful. So we would like to end the program now.
thank you, Lakshmi ji. Yep. Bye bye.
Thank you.